baby, set me free.
Set me free.
Oh, won't you set me free? Hey, set me free, little girl. Oh, won't you set me free? Yeah! That is good, guys. That is so tight.
There's a wedge right in front of you, you know? Hello. Man. No comparison.
Hey, Ricky, you all right, man?
Yeah.
Fine.
Part of it.
Ronnie, you square, buddy?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Are you going to drown in my chair? You going to do it while standing here? Yeah, do it real quick. Just running good up. We have the right thing. Four bars for your wife. Come on. That'll make her happy.
Is it in D flat?
Yeah.
All right, George. This is for you. This is for you, baby.
Down around here.
Hers. And hang it. You're gonna throw me in here like I know the words.
Yeah. You don't need to know the words. You know how to drown in your own tears. You can make up the words. I bet you can. You bring the tears.
It brings up tears. Oh, to my. Okay. It needs to be just a little slower. It brings up tears. Oh, to my. When I begin to realize, well, you know I cried so much. Oh, since you've been gone, and I'm almost drowned in my own tears. I said, I wanna see me cry. Oh, just like a child. Lord have mercy. My falling tears. I want to tell you that they're running wild. And if you don't deserve that you'll be home soon, oh, it's all. Lord, I think I'm gonna drown early in the morning, right now, in my own tears. can't sing with that, you're crazy.
I love it. Make me want to sing.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie. All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right.
No one to hear me complain.
And we were trying to get out of Oklahoma City yesterday to play. And
Oh, yeah?
Am I falling apart? And we scheduled to go through Vegas to get out here, then through Dallas,
Oh, wow.
and finally through Denver. We weren't sure what was gonna fly.
Well, you made it.
It's unpredictable out there.
Yeah. You've been flying around your whole career probably like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Non-stop.
Where do I look at him? Do I look at you or?
Yeah, just straight ahead.
And the camera is, can you talk to me real quick?
Right here, I'm a little
Oh,
bit
you're
to your
over there.
right.
Okay.
The mic,
Right here's
the mic is
camera.
right above.
Yeah, I'm not gonna jump up or anything. do like Ray Charles would do. I jump up and
Right, well.
throw my hands up.
Whatever you're feeling.
I know.
Don't want to hold you back.
Okay.
We good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, talk about that first of all, because that was just an amazing treat for all of us to watch you sing just now.
Oh, this whole rehearsal for the Ray Charles special, the Ray Charles tribute, you know, I knew this rehearsal was going to be good because I'd heard about this band, how great they are.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have played with Ray on the road, and Rick Minor, I certainly knew of him. He's somebody that really pulls all that together. But and to get to play over there with those guys, you know, I of course I know all of Ray's catalog. I said, whatever song you guys want me to sing, and they said, we want you to sing Unchain My Heart. And I said, that's great. And my wife said, well, while you're here with the band, why don't you sing Drown in My Own Tears? So I got to do that as well, and what an experience. You're right.
Yeah. Talk about getting the call to do this, or how'd that all work out? Because you obviously you had to be part of the show. How'd that all kind of come?
Yeah, I've known Ray for a long time. I met him in 1963 in Atlanta when I was in college in Georgia. I had gone to a Ray Charles concert because he was a tremendous influence on my music. And I said, Ray, I'm about to go into law school, an academic career, or go into music. And he heard me play back in his dressing room. I wasn't supposed to get back there, but some reason his pilot let me back in the dressing room to see Ray, to meet him after the show. And I played some music, and he said, there's a lot of music in your heart, son. I think I'd go with what my heart tells me to do. So I did not go to law school. I went on to get into music. And I met Ray again in '65, and there was a big song that I had out as my first record was an R&B top 5 record, an Ashford and Simpson song called Never Had It So Good. The back side of that record was a song called Let's Go Get Stoned. And Ray had heard that song, and he said, I love that song. And so he went and made his version of Let's Go Get Stoned, and he actually heard it from my record, which I felt quite amazing. And knew Ray over the years, so we had a great love, both of us blind technologists working as musicians, especially with computer technology that's available today. We have a very common interest in all of that. And then they mentioned coming to play for this tribute for Ray Charles, and I said, I wouldn't miss that for the world.
So you can honestly say that Ray Charles was, if not the single, he was the reason you're doing what you're doing now.
He absolutely is. Because at the time when I was trying to decide, do I go academic career or do I go into music? I studied classical music when I was in school in Raleigh, so I'd studied 10 years of classical piano and played all kinds of other instruments in the orchestra, cello, first violin. So I'd had a classical background. It's been a kind of a mixed bag because I came out of the Smokies, Flatt and Scruggs and Bill Monroe to Mozart, Bach, and Beethoven.
Yeah.
And then I met Ray, and at that particular time I met Stevie Wonder when he was 13 in Atlanta during the same period of time. Marvin Gaye, Jackie Wilson, and these guys heard me sing, and they said, you got to go try it in music. At least give it a try.
Yeah. And you
So I went up in Nashville. I've had more success, of course, in country music. 40 #1 songs in country music, but I've got a brand new album out that it kind of almost takes me back to a lot of the stuff I heard from Ray, because from having the classical training, 15 years ago I wanted to do a classics album, when you're talking about Gershwin or Cole Porter, some of the great composers. and I wanted to do this. And at that time, I was doing a treadmill thing where I was cranking out hits on RCA, and they said, "No, we want you to stay with that." But I finally got to do this thing called Just for a Thrill. It's a new album.
Yeah.
14 classics on here. Just for a Thrill. Ray Charles recorded that in 1959. So I've been wanting to do songs like this for a long time.
Why so long? How come it's taking you so long to do this kind of record?
Well, like I said, I was busy doing, making my 40 #1 records in country. Once you get on that treadmill, you've got to have a new hit out every so often on the radio, on the road. So I was either on the bus or in the studio.
Yeah.
And Adam, that was my life. I didn't have anything else. That's all I was doing. But I mentioned to the folks at the record company, I wanted to do this classics project. Well, I finally got to do it, and we recorded it out here in Los Angeles at Capitol Records over in the Round Building, Studio A and B with 60 musicians in there. And I talk about law and order. You got to have great arrangers, and it's that mix of technology which most of us that make records are familiar with. The way that we make records today, where you and I can do our part here, and then we can send it to Hawaii and put the bass on, send it to Atlanta and put the background singers on, and maybe mix it sometime 3 or 4 months from now.
Yeah.
This thing was recorded over at Capitol with everybody in the room, and what you heard that day is the record. That's what you got.
What's that thrill like for you as a musician to walk into that experience?
Oh, it's amazing. But I got to say, from doing that project here in Los Angeles, my latest album, to this band here at the rehearsal today, it's the same kind of magic. For one thing, the parts are written, so guys are reading charts, and in some ways that really does help because they're instantly prepared, whereas sometimes a lot of us rehearse actually in the studio and actually write the songs in the studio. But this stuff has already been prearranged, and there's some real beauty and fun and this fascination for me on that kind of, especially this band here today.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And doing this album now, Just for a Thrill, talk about, seems to be an audience for this kind of stuff. Now people are loving the standards. These albums are doing really well.
Yeah, they are. And there was a guy in Nashville that I had 12 #1 records with this guy named Mike Reed, a songwriter, and we've been talking about this kind of project for a long time. And all of a sudden, artists start to come up. I think there's a huge audience that wants to hear this style of music. And I know I have such a great fascination for it. My own heart tells me that I just have to do it regardless of what the consequence is. I've just got to do it. And I truly believe commercially it's going to be a tremendous success.
Yeah, in terms of your audience, the audience that knows and loves everything you've done.
Yeah, they know that they have actually, my fans in some ways, because I've had a country career, but I've also had a crossover career, which is kind of a dirty word in the music industry, I guess, because you got to be somewhere in one particular box all the time. But from crossing over to, the adult contemporary charts to even R&B in the mix of the different areas where I've been, it's not unrealistic that I try this classics album. And like I said, hey, it's the dream album for me. It's what I've been dreaming about doing for 15 years.
Which of the songs on this are closest to your heart? Certain songs you've always wanted to record, or maybe you've sung on your own?
Yeah, I had, the title song, Just for a Thrill, absolutely. Teach Me Tonight. I always loved that song ever since I, heard it as a kid. And I used to sing it when I was in school in Raleigh. Instead of practicing my Mozart and Beethoven, I was in there playing, the pop songs. And I always wanted to do that. And I always loved the Willie Dixon song called My Babe, My Babe, which is almost an R&B song.
Yeah.
But this thing is done with a full orchestra. It's just amazing arrangement. And the arrangement is the key to this. We found 3 arrangers instead of having one guy to do the whole thing where it would sound too similar. Sammy Nestico, who's probably '79, used to work with Count Basie and Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
And his charts, and when he came into the studio, like, musicians just were in total awe of this guy.
Yeah.
And his charts are so great. And Jimmy Haskell, a Grammy Award winner, who's done so many great records. He arranged a lot of the songs for this album.
Yeah. Now you say all that, but it's gonna, people listening to this are gonna hear your voice and think that's the key. This is why this thing's so special. You can make these songs work like you can be able to make pop songs work and R&B songs work. And country
Yeah,
songs
exactly, because I've had experience in all that area.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for some reason, I've always just loved the whole experience of being on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's just about, because from the time early, I was taking radios apart when I was like 4 or 5 years old, putting them back together, ham
Yeah.
radio operator, into the technology. So when I checked, and I knew all the different frequencies. So especially when I was growing up, you could hear Chicago and Dallas and Atlanta and even KFI out here in Los Angeles, all the way from Raleigh, North Carolina. So that whole thing of making music for the radio, it was always a challenge to find it. But I was doing R&B until I came to Nashville in '73, and I got helped out at that time with Chet Atkins and Jerry Bradley at RCA in Nashville, and wound up selling a whole lot of records, and never really suspected that I'd be a country singer, although I've got the background for it.
Yeah.
So just about anywhere you go, that's the thing about being around the music business a while. I think you've had the experience to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But this thing coming out here doing this tribute for Ray, man, this tops it all. Yeah.
You excited about people you're going to be singing with and meeting up with this week?
Oh yeah, I get a chance to got to see Billy Preston in there a few minutes ago, man. What a talented man, and goodness, Stevie Wonder's here. As I mentioned, I met him first time when he was 13, when he had fingertips. Everybody say yeah! When he was doing that, and known these people a long time, a lot of them, but my dear friend and mentor over the years, Ray Charles, because we played many television performances and live shows together, and for presidents, and it was just always a real treasure to get to be around him and just spend one-on-one time with Ray Charles, because he was the high priest, and by being somebody who blazed the trail for a lot of other artists, he proved that it actually could be done if you can persevere and if you have the talent to do it. But he gave me the encouragement to go on and give it a shot.
Yeah, well, you blaze your own trails, and people look up to you now. What's it like having young musicians now come up to you? You probably give inspiration.
Oh man, that's the wildest thing. I always think about Sammy Davis Jr., who always said, "It's really cool when the young cats dig you," and it is. It is. You never expect to ever be in this position. But folks are coming up talking about what your music meant to them as they were growing up, and that's what it's all about, Adam. You're just trying to communicate with your music. If it makes people feel something, that's what's missing in a lot of the music today. Not in country, not necessarily just in country, but it's also in all elements of. There's so much electronic wizardry being used that I'm not so sure that there's a whole lot of feel in the music. I want to feel something, make me laugh or cry or something,
Yeah.
And these machines singing to one another, these singers have been pitch corrected, time corrected. And I said this Pro Tools technology is wonderful, but it takes the soul and the feel out of the music. That's why when I did this album Just for Thrill at Capitol, all the musicians in the studio, it's all one take. It may be the third or fourth take, but we're all in there together, and that's the record. That's the music, rather than all the overdubs.
Now, after doing something like this, that being said, you can, I don't know if you're going to tour behind this or whatever. Are you dying just to go back and do like a honky tonk country album, something totally different?
Not anytime soon. No, we've got. Although I could, I've got the songs to do that. Matter of fact, but we've been doing quite a few symphonies, and I suspect that we're going to be doing a lot more of those. and get to showcase this kind of music that I'm doing now. These standards.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of charts on there. And there's a good friend of mine, Charlie Colello, who's also one of the arrangers on this album, who is my conductor. And there's another guy that worked with a lot of the greats, and he comes out and conducts the orchestras for us as we do those kind of shows. But I take my rhythm section, my band with me, and we integrate it right into the full orchestra.
Wow. Yeah.
And it works. It works.
Sure.
It works magically well.
Now this thing sells through the roof like it should, and a lot of people, lesser talents, have had albums like this that have done well the last few years. What would that mean to you at this point in your career to have another huge success doing something a little different for you?
It would be wonderful. It would be wonderful to be able to, because I've had a long career in the country format, but nothing lasts forever, you know, and especially with everything is involved so much with youth and looking good. I've always heard them keep saying, man, it doesn't matter how you sound. It just matters how you look. You know, if you look cool, then you're going to be fine. But I've always been so much into the music, and I'm so thrilled about this new project and getting a chance to get out on the road and play these symphonies and to play this music for the people.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to be right now at this moment in time in my life. Yes, sir.
What do awards and things like Grammys mean to you at this point in your career?
Oh, they always mean a lot.
Yeah.
They do. I guess because other people in the business, your peers, other folks, that we were strangely enough playing the Grand Ole Opry last Saturday night, and everybody over there was talking to me about this new album. They all have copies of it.
Yeah.
And they said, this is the best thing you have ever done. Whatever possessed you to go out and do the standards project like this, the Cole Porter and the George and Ira Gershwin? Why? I said, well, I've just been singing a lot of these songs ever since I was a kid in school. And it's just one of those things that I had to do for me, you know.
Well, it's going to make a lot of other people very happy too. And good to meet you.
Hey, Adam, pleasure to meet you. And as they say, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being on.
Great.